right. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Afro Taku live stream. I'm Mr. Good Guy, aka MGG, and I'm joined here by my co-host, who will introduce himself starting right now.
What up, what up, what up? I am Gramps, and we back.
Yep, it's been a while. I know y'all missed us last week, maybe the week before that, but we are back, and we're here to do some chapter reviews. So kicking it right off with One Piece chapter 1008. Gramps, you want to kick off the overview for that?
All right, so chapter 1008, leader of the Atamayama Thieves Brigade, Ashura Doji. I kind of had to practice that word a couple of times, low key, Atamayama. So,
I stopped reading the chapter names actually. Like most of the times, I don't even be noticing where it's in because I always hide it in a. Oh no, for One Piece, it's always up there, but I'll just look at the
yeah,
main picture and just keep going.
yeah. So, at the very least, with the intro picture, we see the title. It says, "A horse that wants to fly turned into a Pegasus with help from Robin." So, Robin out here showing love with the animals. I've noticed that they're basically showing a lot of people having fun with animals and shit like that. I think they had Kid or somebody like that doing stuff with penguins,
Mm.
and somebody was doing stuff with like kittens or whatever. So I don't know if Oda is playing with some new patch or some shit, maybe starting a farm or whatever.
Were
So
you
just stay
playing
on
Animal Crossing?
Drew. So stay on the lookout for that. We're gonna be seeing a lot of animal shit,
All right.
especially with this chapter. We see that Odin is back, and everybody's shocked or whatever. They're like, "Yo, how the fuck are you back?" He said, "Yo, bro, Toki sent me to the future, and now I'm out here." Everybody's sitting like, "Oh shit," they getting there, they all crying or whatever. But the nigga Ashra Doji was like, "Bro, I ain't falling for that shit. You a fucking fake." They're like, "Bro, what you talking about? The nigga is right here. Do you not remember that Toki can use her powers to send niggas to the future?" Ashra Doji's like, "Nah, nigga, you forgot that she can't go back in time. That's a one crutch with her power." And they're like, and that's where we see that nigga Ashra Doji. He pushes Kinemon out the way, and he fucking slices the Odin fake, and we can see that the nigga chopped the part of his face off like it was a damn cake or a piece of paper. When I saw that, I
Mm.
instantly thought of the little clones that one paper chick from Naruto could do. I can't remember her name or
Oh,
whatever, but
I know you're talking about the one that was under pain, like the.
yeah,
Uh huh. I
that's
feel
what it
you.
made me instantly think of because it looked like it was a piece of cutout from a piece of paper or whatever.
Mm.
But that was just my little tidbit. But yeah, from that we see that yes, it is a fucking fake, and the nigga came over with a whole ass sword through the nigga Ashra Doji. But we know that nigga swole, so he ain't finna go down for the long run of that. And after that, everybody's shocked, saying, "Oh, Ashra Doji, oh my bad, man, we should have believed you." And meanwhile, this nigga Odin, well, fake Odin, pulls out a couple bombs or whatever, and like, "Oh shit." And lo and behold, that nigga Ashra Doji comes in, saves him by jumping basically out the window while holding that man down. And we get a big ass boom. And guess who's laid out? The nigga Ashra Doji, laid out, smoked out, burned up, and all that good stuff. Pretty sure some people are gonna believe that he's dead because we saw what happened with Pedro back
Last
on
time somebody got
back on
blown up.
but then we also have people who don't believe that he's dead because we got the nigga Pale. That nigga's still alive. Remember when he flew all the way to the sky with the bombs from Crocodile's Ark. That
Alabasta.
nigga flew to the sky. Yeah, from Alabasta, flew to the sky, got blown up. Everybody thought he was dead, but that nigga's still alive. So
All right.
we got a nice little split between everybody who thinks he's alive, who thinks he's dead. I'm going to assume that the nigga's still alive, but that's that. But we see that Kanjiro, yeah, he was basically still alive. And they were saying that a nigga's knife or sword becomes dual when he's fighting when he's fighting with one of his homies. So now they're all chasing him, trying to take him out. And guess who pops up? That nigga Jack. He said,
No.
"Bro, I came to get some revenge, man. Stop playing with me." And that's what we see. Which one is that? Inoarashi? I believe that's Inarashi. He's like, nah, bro. Y'all keep it moving. I got this.
Mr.
This nigga
Dog
injured.
Home.
I'm injured too. We taking this to the death. So we get a nice little line from the two of them. We get Jack talking about, yeah, bro, ain't no moons over here this time. And that nigga Inarashi was like, yeah, but you ain't no poison over here either. So we both gonna be throwing hands like real niggas
Mhm.
with no fucking cheat codes. And so catch over from that. We see that the boy Orochi, he ain't dead. I don't think anybody's surprised. That man out here talking about, yeah, man, I'm finna burn this whole fucking place down. Y'all wanna betray me? All right, we gonna see about that. We're gonna go down, guns blazing and buildings blazing. And so we switch over from that and see your boy Yamato and a crew. They all still running and talking about how they're hoping that Luffy and the rest of the gang are okay. And we see a quick line that has a lot of theories going on. I think Momonosuke was talking about how he's basically he sees or knows that Luffy is he's completely fatigued, but he's doing all right. The nigga still got a lot of fight in him, and they like, Nani, bro, how the fuck you know this shit? Can you see him or something? And he's like, huh? So that's going to start a lot of theories on its own. And with that, we cut over to seeing Luffy and Zoro and the rest of the gang. They're fighting with Big Mom and Kaido, and we get to see what Kaido's hybrid form looks like. Honestly, I'm not all of that. I'm not all of that impressed based on the hype that was built for it, but uh, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to have their own comments on it. And that gives us the end of the chapter with Kaido saying, "Bro, that fight in your eyes never leaves, does it?"
Yeah. I mean, before we talk about the Kaido thing, I'll jump back to just a part about Kanjiro's betrayal. I mean, here I think was a typical, just like Oda move, which is kind of what I expected, which was your boy Kinemon is not strong enough to fight any of the people who are invested in the Odin storyline. Meaning, like, he could fight the king or whatever dude's name, Lord Orochi, but it would be like a pretty easy fight because we're assuming that guy has no hands. He has Kaido, and then now the Kanjiro betrayal. So there's no way he's gonna fight Kaido by himself and win. So I think that's why they gave him that Nine Chiefs thing. But they needed to set up that Kanjiro, battle. So I think this Ashura Doji thing just helped because to me, I was seeing Ashura Doji versus Jack, but you like the way they set it up with Inarashi is like technically the dog and cat had more of an investment in beating Jack than Doji does. But if Joji was around, my question would immediately jump to like, all right, so why doesn't Doji just drop this nigga, right? You know what I'm saying? Like Doji with the dog, I wouldn't see the struggle in the Jack fight. I would see them being able to easily beat him. So I think that's why he took that L with the bomb. Is so they didn't really have anyone to match him up with. So it was like, all right, cool, let's just take him out of commission for this fight. And then have the motivation for Kinemon to finish off Kanjiro because now it's like, oh, you blew up my friend and you impersonated Odin. So like I really have to drop you. So now the investment's there for that fight. And then like the setup he was going with the dog. I thought he was gonna let the dog and cat run this nigga's fade. But for the fact that he just let Inarashi do it is actually big statements to me because I'm like, I thought it would still need to be both of them at the end of the day. The fact that he's going in there, I wonder what he's going to set up for the cat or if the cat is going to come back and be like, oh yeah, nigga, of course I can't let him run this nigga fade by himself. Like, I got an investment in this shit too. Because I don't see who else, like what the future matchup for the cat is. He's not invested in any of the other battles besides the Jack one.
I'm gonna be real. I can't see what future matchup each person has.
That too. Yeah, outside of Kinemon and the dog and cat, I don't know what else is seasoned for the more advanced samurais. Like potential, like because dude's investment, the frog motherfucker, whatever his name is, the Kappa, his investment is mostly that he protected the chick. Like while they were gone. So if there's anything related to the sister, he might be invested in that fight. But other than that, I don't know. And then like
but who's Yuri fighting though? I mean, I don't see any. don't see her needing to be saved from anybody in particular right now.
I know, and it's such a waste, kind of, because I feel like these samurai that we don't have an idea what their fights are the ones that have the most battle potential out of the samurai group. So it's like Doji, I really wanted to see have a one-on-one fight, and it was just like Kaido was just too big of a jump, but I wanted him to take on like somebody like a Jack, like somebody at his level, showcase what he got, end it. If we're gonna watch these fights, I'd rather watch them in full. I get the importance of the Kitty Maw fight, but I don't want to really watch it, to be honest. Like, I don't know if you care about it, but I don't. So,
no, not really, in all honesty.
Right. So.
And yeah, I do agree that I feel like Ashura Doji is actually a bit stronger than Jack. Like we saw what happened when them niggas were when he ran up on them while they were both fresh. That nigga Ashura Doji had that nigga bleeding like So it's definitely I feel like it's definitely going to make more sense if we have Inuarashi and Nekomamushi jumping his ass because they were basically butting heads when it was switching between day and night or whatever, just butting heads. Nobody was jumping over the other person.
True.
And when we saw that when both of them niggas went into Sulong mode or whatever and straight jumped his ass, he didn't have a fucking chance. They probably didn't even get scratched up during that damn fight. So with it being a one-on-one with them both being injured or whatever, I forgot to mention, we also had them butting heads, Inuarashi versus Jack and then Nekomamushi versus Jack, where them niggas had both of their arms and both of their legs. We said that this nigga is, what was he missing on? He was missing either one of his arms or he's missing one of his legs. So with that, he also has another crutch while going against Jack. So I really see that nigga having too many handicaps against him to take that full win against Jack by himself.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, they already fought Kaido, took an L. So I'm like, if he pulls that out, I would just be shocked as to like how the fuck, like why he wasn't able to do that the first time with the day versus night thing. Right. Like I was like, I don't know. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And then, like I said, the Kanjiro versus Kenny Maw is gonna be meh. And then this trader guy, well, not trader guy, the sleeper agent dude, which I keep Denjiro, I guess, is that his name? Yeah, I have no clue what they're gonna set up there because like once his investment is with Odin, really. So I'm sorry, not Odin, Lord Orochi. So I'm like, there is also like he was the nigga that I was expecting someone from Luffy's crew to fight, like when he was first introduced. So now he's actually on their side. So I'm like, you actually took a battle power away, and it seems like they're not setting up the Flying Six touching this group at all, which would be the only other like logical set of people for them to fight. Like Kaido doesn't like the Flying Six is basically the equivalent to all of those non-named commander type people in Big Mom's crew, like the Lord Ovens, the Count Chickens, like those motherfuckers. I felt like this is kind of what the Flying Six they're trying to like equate them to. Maybe not power wise, but like as far as the structure of Kaido's crew goes, like important niggas that they could possibly fight. So yeah, I'm really confused on where he wants to take that.
The only person I might see that we might be sleeping on is the nigga who's ahead of all the ninjas, the buddy with that long ass head.
Oh,
because you can see him actually. You can see him actually right behind Orochi shooting somebody right outside the room.
I am still waiting on potentially something coming out of that Obi-Wan group than what we saw because I feel like for the way they introduced them, they kind of got wrapped up pretty quickly. So they're like, like you said, I think maybe the leader might have some battle potential, but I do think that they're not necessarily done, if that makes sense. I don't know who's going to fight them, but I think that we're going to get a couple of chapters of a fight with somebody in that group. But the way the rest of them are getting bodied, it's likely just going to be the leader. Because I keep seeing them in various scenes getting jumped. So I'm like...
I mean, we saw what Zoro did to them niggas.
Right. So we had to wait and see on that. But yeah, I mean, that was like, besides the Kaido thing, that was one part I wanted to touch on. Do you want to just talk about the Kaido thing, or is there something else you wanted to bring up?
So do you think Momonosuke has either super duper observation hockey? Do you think it's a voice of what's that? Voice of all things or some shit like that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, like the thing
Or do you
Goldie Roger has, the hearing
yeah,
thing,
the same way he was able to hear
the voice of
Zoe,
things. Yeah,
the way he was able to hear Zoe saying, help me, these niggas are shooting my fucking knees off.
mm-hmm.
Or do you think that it is potentially some type of connection between him and Kaido with them having that same devil fruit, or him having a copy of Kaido's devil fruit so he can see and hear whatever the hell Kaido is able to
Yeah.
see and hear?
I think it's tough for me because what I would say is right now I'm leaning more towards the last one, only because of the proximity in chapters. Because it was like a couple chapters ago they talked about this thing with the CP0 people, and then we're keep like talking about Momonosuke. So I feel like they're trying to relate it to him getting like the true version of Kaido's fruit or whatever they did with the smile fruit. So I would lean to that, but in my mind, like I'm always of the theory, and I brought it up a couple of times before, of that there are people in this world who have like supernatural abilities in a particular hockey subset. So like without necessarily, um, they might have trained to it, but also like it could just be something they're gifted with in my mind. So I feel like, what was the example of this? I don't remember the example, but I feel like we're gonna see characters like, oh, that was one of the persons. Like I alluded to potentially Virgo being one of those people. Is his name Virgo? What's dude's name from
Some from Doflamingo's
yeah, the
crew?
dude that always had food on the side of his mouth.
Yeah, that's Virgo.
Oh yeah, so him, I felt like his full body armament hockey was like a special attribute to that armament hockey tier. I felt like what Usopp's doing with observation is also another like secret path to this thing, like kind of like the deviations in bending in the Avatar world. Like there's people who have core earth bending, but then there's people who make these special techniques like lava
Like
bending
metal
and shit.
building or lava building. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I kind of see it like that. So with the Momonosuke, that's why I'm like, I'm still not I'm not ruling out the theory that it could also be some sort of special observation hockey type that we just haven't learned about, and that they'll start to explain with Goldie Rogers' hearing ability too, if they haven't said that's what it is already. So yeah, I right now I would lean towards it's probably going to be somehow related to Kaido's fruit, but I'm still not ruling out the theory that it's some special hockey type that this guy has and is using subconsciously. Because I mean, look at dude's dad. I mean, Toki didn't get it. I don't know why. We just wrapped that up to shonen female stuff. But the parent, she coming from a parent with a time traveling devil fruit that only God knows what she's seen of. Because she came from the future, correct? Toki.
No, no, she came from the past. She
Oh, she
came
came
from
from the past into
like a
their
thousand
future.
years ago. Right.
Okay, yeah. So only God knows what she has, or information she has, or what she's carrying in her gene pool. And then we already saw how broken Odin was, and Odin's broken wasn't even like a trained kind of thing. It seemed like it was one of those big mom events of just I'm like weirdly strong this way, and then he just kept developing on it, you know.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on it?
All right. I think it might be a connection to the voice of all things.
Okay.
Either he's just simply able to hear or feel certain things around him,
Yeah.
or maybe in like some sense or another, because I kind of saw a theory on this that basically with him, having that special connections like Zoe and potentially other extremely large creatures on the planet, maybe like there's a creature that's telling him, oh yeah, this nigga is in this situation or whatever, and this is how he's feeling and all of that. And with that being the case, let's say for example, if Zoe is actually much closer than we think, and Zoe is telling him everything that's going on top of his skull, and somebody's basically theorizing that, okay, so right before the Kaido actually drops this whole island down, Momonosuke could actually tell Zoe, yo, catch that shit, bro. Don't let that shit drop and kill all these people. So they're theorizing that that's either the case that he'll save everybody, or they're saying that Momonosuke is actually going to turn into a dragon and create all of the exact same clouds that Kaido was using right now to carry the whole island to actually catch that shit and hold everybody up for the quote unquote golden hour, just
Oh
like how
wow.
Odin held up his whole squad for that whole hour. So I
Okay.
actually I actually would prefer the theory of him controlling Zoe like that because I can't
Mhm.
see that nigga trying to pull off a whole feat like holding a whole island as a child right now
Right.
for a whole island.
I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely feel like that could be a Zoe thing. Um, I mean, and then with that is it could help explain away some of the difficulty that I'm foreseeing them having with them getting off the island. Like Marco was a good ad from Oda to help make sense of how they can potentially survive this event. Because it's like Marco's still, Yonko level strong, arguably. So it's like he can, you know what I'm saying? There's a way to help them get off the island if they don't necessarily beat these niggas. But I think we kind of already talked that we're assuming that there's gonna be um like it has to be resolved. Like whatever's like the leadership is has to change in Wano after this arc, which means
Yep.
Kaido either has to be dead or like somehow stated in the story that he's going to be out of the picture when it comes to like trying to interact with Wano in some way, shape, or form. How they're going to do that, I have no fucking clue. But like the more stuff they add, the more sense it'll make. But I mean, it's going to be a bold statement if. I mean, it's gonna be a bold statement if they say Luffy and them beat Kaido and them, but it's gonna be even bolder to me to hear that Luffy and gang was able to make a Yonko run away. Like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Defeating, it's like, it's still like a big clout piece, but to say ran away, it like, I feel like it sends, like maybe, I don't know if it was you or Jugga that had that theory of we're going to start moving into the war pretty soon. That would send shockwaves that I think would make another Yonko crew take action. Like someone getting defeated, that's like, oh, okay, cool. They whooped his ass, but whatever. They whooped Big Mom's ass. Nobody really moved. But if you're like, yo, we kicked Kaido out of this country and this nigga's running in fear, I feel like that's immediately gonna be like, all right, let's start taking these niggas' territories. Like, someone's gonna move on it, and it might be a Blackbeard. I don't see Shanks as that type of person, but then again, that nigga's still a pirate, so he might be.
My guy, if you making somebody run away, do you know how much more powerful do you have to be than
Right.
that person to make them run away?
That's what I'm
Because like, yeah,
saying.
I can see you simply beating somebody because you
Right.
can beat somebody and just barely be stronger than them. But to make a nigga run away, the difference between y'all power has to be pretty fucking high. Where you're like,
Exactly.
yes,
That's why
I
it's
have no chance.
it's hard for me to fathom those words kind of coming out of Kaido's mouth of like, yeah, I'll be back. You know what I mean? That villain like run away, but I'll be back. Like I can't see it. So I
Yeah.
don't know how he plans on closing it out, but I also can't see Kaido like straight up getting killed or defeated either. So it's just kind of weird on how they. I don't know how they're gonna play this because Marco's not gonna kill him. I don't think Kinemon or anybody here is gonna necessarily kill Kaido. So I'm like, and I don't see Shanks as the type of person unless he's about to like showcase that why he met with the world government means he's like becoming evil. I don't see Shanks as the type of person that will pull up and try to kill this nigga either. You know what I'm saying? Even if he had the chance, I don't see him as going like, yeah, I'm just gonna murder another Yonko. I feel like he just be like, I whooped
Well,
your ass, I'm gone.
well, the thing is though, I don't see niggas actually killing him. But you
Yeah.
got to remember that Wano is the land of where niggas make the actual sea stone prism items or
Oh,
whatever.
so you think they gonna get his
So
ass locked
they,
up?
yeah, I can see them locking his ass up somehow.
Okay.
Him and if Big Mom gets defeated, her ass too.
I mean,
And where they
CP0
ass,
is there, so I think this would be a great time if they get the opportunity to showcase who the fuck these niggas are and how strong they are. If they
yeah,
end up wrapping this shit up, because it could be like right at the clutch, they kind of show up and it's just like, hey, they're weak now. Let's finish this off. Arrest these niggas, put them in impel down, and then like claim it as a Marine win instead of a Luffy and them win. Because I feel like if it's a Luffy and them win, I can't see how you wouldn't. I don't agree with this, but I don't see how in the world you wouldn't automatically make them Yonko status. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because they basically did what Blackbeard did to Whitebeard. and he immediately became a Yonko after that. So it's kind of like I don't know if they're ready to pass that title on to Luffy because it seems like this second half is very similar to how the first half played out, where he's just touching every. He's like getting involved with every Yonko somehow. Like he got involved with every warlord before the time skip. Like before he ended up going to Sabondi, it was like, oh, first crocodile, and then he ran into whatever dude's name is, the ghost motherfucker. Like he pretty much touched all of the warlords and kind of capped it off with Don Flamingo post time skip. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how they want to close, how they're gonna close this out. I have no idea.
True that. True that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to this Kaido, man. Let's get into this
Right.
this time.
I'm disappointed, man, because like I said, this is the arc for Zoans. So to me, Kaido is the pinnacle of Zoans as far as I know. So if Don Flamingo busted out, he pretty much made Paramecia's, like if you didn't think Paramecia's were creative and on point enough, Don Flamingo turned that to 11 when he showcased that whole awakening
Birdcage and all that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when he showcased awakening, it's there. So I'm like, all right, so if this, I'm assuming Kaido has mastered some sort of awakening for his own fruit. If that's a thing, a power route he can go down, which I'm assuming he can. So right now I'm just seeing very basic Kaido stuff, and I don't know if it's like he's still in the toying around phase, but Big Mom seems not to be. Like, you know what I mean? Like I felt like in the Big Mom arc, we may not have saw her go all out, but I still feel like we saw enough of her to like feel like we understood her, not max, but you know what I mean. We saw all the tools in her tool belt. You know what I mean. We got that moment where she lost all that weight and she started turning to a super beast. Like, you know what I mean. All that shit happened. I'm not getting that from Kaido, and then this transformation is just kind of like lame. Coming from the other Zoans I've seen, like think of Rob Lucci. Like I still haven't seen the Zoan that's really pulled off a nice Rob Lucci that's showing me that they understand the animal that their thing comes from and is using that to enhance their hybrid form, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like no one does that besides Rob Lucci, and it's sad. Or sorry, Rob Lucci, even Kaku, and maybe you can argue the other guy that got the Zoan, the wolf dude, but really Kaku and whatever, they ate the fruit like a few days ago and then were able to use their hybrid forms in such unique ways that actually leveraged the abilities of the animals that they had. You know what I mean? Like, even though the neck thing was stupid with the giraffe, it was still like, okay, he thought about this shit. So for Kaido, like his hybrid form being a dragon, I'm like, okay, I see a tail from this picture, but I don't necessarily, I don't know how he's going to use it to benefit him in this battle, because I feel like I'm just going to see the same moves with different names. I'm not getting a vibe that like I'm going to get something drastically different from this hybrid form. That's my thoughts.
I mean, maybe the nigga should have been, floating on fire, kind of like how Big Mom is, since he basically does stand on fire whenever he's flying in his dragon mode. Mm-hmm. Maybe that would give us a bit more of the effect of that nigga being in his true hybrid mode or whatever. Right. It seemed like the nigga just basically grew some scales and
horns and a tail,
grew extra horn and grew a tail.
Right. So I'm like, what are you gonna pull out a tail move? Like, okay, that's not like, you know what I'm saying? This is not what I want to see from a Yonko. This is fine at like the tiers lower than a Yonko. This is great. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be that mad about this. But it's like Yonko level, seeing that Luffy has all this mastery of shit to go, and you guys are apparently the pinnacle of this stuff. I'm just expecting more. I'm like not seeing a lot of what I'm seeing Luffy gaining from the people that are considered top tier in this world. You know what I mean? Like the lack of, it's like hockey's kind of like said but not shown. You know what I mean? Hockey mastery is not shown from like these top tier characters, and it's kind of like disappointing to me. Like I'm expecting to see more of that from Shanks because he just seems to be invested in the broader aspects of the world. But I am very disappointed that these niggas have been around this long, and it's like, the Ryo thing, I'm not seeing them use it like the way I see Luffy use it. I'm expecting like if Luffy just learned it, he's like at baby mode with this ability. So if this is a common thing on Wano, I'm expecting a nigga like Kaido to be able to take that and turn it up to 11 and show me like, hey, this is where it could be. The way Dogtooth showed us like, hey, you thought hearing things was just some lame ability? Well, what if I use that shit to see the future? Then you're like, oh, that's taking, you know what I'm saying, that baby ability and showing us what it could be. I'm not seeing that from really anybody in Wano, which is a little disappointing. Even though I still like this a little bit more than Big Mom's arc, I feel like it's kind of like a wasted potential as far as like the power development goes. Like the world building they can do from like the power side of things, like the action.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I fully agree on that.
All right, so I guess we are ready to rate it.
Yep.
I think I just get this chapter probably like it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't say it was particularly the best chapter I read either. Just kind of like a big, huh? So I think it's pretty much gonna be a decent for me. Everything that happened, I see where they're going with it, so that's why I'm like, okay, cool, that's good. The Kaido stuff, I'm disappointed at his look, so I would almost give it a minus for that. But just it kind of more or less just balanced everything out. Like you need to read the chapter. I feel like as far as it plays into the bigger story of stuff because it's setting up how Kinemon's kind of going to end his arc, what's going to happen with Jack, and then potentially seeing some stuff from Kaido and Big Mom. But I don't know. It just didn't really make me feel any kind of way, good or bad.
Mm-hmm. I was going to give it a decent plus.
Okay.
They're giving us, content that we can theorize on or whatever. So I'm definitely vibing with that. It's the Kaido thing kind of turned me off a bit, so I was kind of like, ugh, when I got to that point because there was like so much fucking hype or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, basic. And then I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just compared to the hype, it turned out to be a disappointment. So. Maybe it was my fault for having such high expectations
right.
for the design.
For putting it on a pedestal like people tell you to.
Right. And then as far as, like the Odin part, I was like, all right, that it makes sense. And I just wish Ashuradoji didn't get taken out by some bullshit like this or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, it was an okay chapter. Yep. That's good stuff to make theories from. So, decent plus.
All right. On to the next one. So, My Hero Academia, Chapter 307. I forgot to give my disclaimer with the One Piece, but anyways, if you don't want spoilers, and there will be some slightly heavy spoilers on this one because major changes in My Hero world the past few chapters. You probably just want to mute us for the next 10-ish minutes and then come back. So, without further ado, My Hero, Chapter 307. Been a while. So really we start off actually focusing on niggas we ain't seen in a while, and I was actually kind of wondering where the fuck these other motherfuckers were when all this shit was going on. But the I guess it's the Kenbutsu Academy, but the other hero schools, we're focusing on the guy who does the earthquakes or vibrations, and then this chick I don't really remember, but her name is Turtleneck. Basically they're in this prison break era of the My Hero world. I don't think it's a significant time skip, but probably some smaller time skip. They're going around basically trying to move the citizens, still trying to like fight it out against the criminals to their safe houses, so to speak. And then they run into this particular group of civilians who are pretty much like, you heroes ain't shit. You put us in this mess and you want us to trust you, which were all valid points. And they basically said we're doing a good job of handling ourselves. I felt like the heroes they must have ran into were straight doo-doo. So that's probably why they were doing a decent job handling themselves. Because as we come to find out, it looks like a real nigga, muscular, is out here running these streets. And I think he's just like fucking around right now, which I think is going to end up... I'll say that theory for later, but it will be interesting to see how Horikoshi wants to go with the villains in terms of this prison break, and if they're going to start trying to collaborate and form blocks of this world. But anyways, I'll leave that for the end. So he shows up. Grand and the chick try to basically go pro hero and think they can take on Muscular. Somehow Horikoshi wants to integrate back into the story that there is a difference between a student and a real villain, which I have my gripes with. So they try to take him on. Obviously, because they're not a pro hero, they lose. And in the process, yeah, he pretty much drops the shit out of him. Like, I was actually surprised because I thought my boy Earthquake, he pulls out whatever his name. I think his name's Quake or Grand. Sorry, his name's Grand. Yeah. So he can vibrate things. So he actually had a really good idea, which was as Muscular choked him, he was like, "I'm gonna vibrate the shit out of you. Like, nigga, you about to get a concussion. Pass the fuck out. I'm gonna shake the shit out your brain." Which I was like, that should definitely work. But I guess, which is also funny and kind of one punch man-y in my mind, like Muscular was just like, "No, I'm just gonna muscle out that shit," which I was just like, yes-ish. Like, I want to say yes, but in my mind, I'm still like, "No, bro. Like, I think you should still get concussed out this motherfucker." But whatever, I'll leave it to his muscles to figure that out. So they tried that, didn't work. Looks like they're about to get dropped, and then who's here to save the day? Deku with a tattered suit, trying to make his ugly ass costume kind of look dope. But I think what we're really gonna see here, and this is just prediction for the future. I'm done with the overview, moving on to future stuff. I think we're going to get a level set here. So I don't know what the time skip is, but I think this fight versus Muscular is supposed to be reminiscent of the first fight, so we can see Deku's true development as a hero or whatever he's been doing solo. Because my expectation is he's going to either easily drop this motherfucker or drop it with much less injury than he did when he first fought Muscular, which was going like, what, 1,000,000% to try and hit him, and then basically, arm or finger, whatever was fucking done. So I think at this point, that's what they're setting up for that next chapter. But yeah, that was the overview of this chapter. Any thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to point out a couple things that actually happened in this chapter. So, for one, when if you go over to page 6. So after they got turned down or whatever, this nigga Grand, that boy was sitting there with the most evil looking hero face I ever seen in my life. Talking about, yeah, man, one little quirk and I would have fucked that whole building up. I should have dragged their ass out, but fortunately for them, it was illegal. I'm like, bro,
right?
You a hero? What the hell?
Not in this world, bro.
So this vibe is making me, I mean, no pun intended, since a nigga can vibrate shit, but this vibe is basically telling me that, yes, we're going to have a number of heroes who are eventually going to get to a point where they're like, fuck this shit. I'm going to become a villain. I'm going to go ahead and do it whatever the hell I want because this hero shit ain't working no more. So pay attention to that because we're getting a little hint just from this nigga right here.
Oh, I had a feeling that was coming anyways because I was like, some of these heroes seemed very opportunist. And the fact that like so many of them retired before shit even got to the worst, like it was bad, but it was like, okay, they didn't even know about the prison break at that time, and niggas was already like, yo, I'm retiring. I was like, you're retired.
Right.
That shouldn't even be a thing you say, really. Like Gran Torino, I don't even know if this nigga ever really went. I mean, they say he in retirement, but like that nigga was around. So
he's basically not getting paid.
Right. Exactly. But he's just, they stop endorsing him for shit, but yo, that nigga shit. Well, low key, if I was smart, bro, ARP better get on that. Them endorsements for Gran Torino. Lock him in, bro. Lock him in.
Now, another thing that I wanted to point out was how weak this chick turtleneck is. So when we see this boy,
what was her power, anyways?
I don't fucking know. I'm gonna assume that she can make her body super hard on some Red Riot type shit. I'm gonna assume that she can actually turn herself into like a turtle shell. That's just my guess. I haven't looked up her powers, but the way she got bitched by a random citizen because she was over here. I'm guessing she was trying to tell that nigga Grand not to run up on this man, and trying to tell the people not to run up on this man because they talking about, yo, we finna go help buddy ass out. She's like, yo, don't do that shit. This is a real ass villain. This ain't like one of them little scrappy ass little niggas that y'all been dealing with for a while. This is a real nigga. And they like, girl, get your ass up out the way. Buddy just pushed her down like she was a little bitch. I'm like, bro, she's supposed to be a hero, getting punked by random ass citizens. Gee, the hero society is going down the drain. So I just definitely wanted to point that shit out because if she getting pushed around like that, I don't know how she made it so far.
Right.
And the third thing I wanted to say was, how is this nigga grand? How is this nigga not similar to to Whitebeard? Because we saw what earthquake powers can do.
Right.
What you could do when you can have some fucking devastating, vibrating powers. This man got some work to do if he ain't trying to get to that level, man.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That nigga should be able to just touch him and just say, "Fucking crumble."
Right. I don't
put him through the ground.
Called out limitations on his power, but my guess is it's probably going to end up being like a Bakugo type of limitation, which is like he can probably only shake. He probably has a higher tolerance to that vibration, but there's probably still a limit on how hard he can vibrate without it fucking his own head up or some shit. But to me, from what I seen him do to Muscular, it seemed like his tolerance was pretty high if there was one, because he shook the shit out that. Like, that wasn't no normal shit he pulled out.
Exactly.
All right.
But he said he ain't getting baby shakes.
I'm telling you. And then Silent Blade said desperate times call for desperate measures, which is big facts. Deku came in on full power.
That is true.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, so that's the thing, though. Deku, so what we saw from Deku the first time the nigga fought Muscular is he was basically just using fucking... Right. I mean, use a higher percent each time. So in this case, I think we're definitely going to start seeing that nigga use a lot more dexterity with the different powers that he has. So instead of just trying to run up and just fucking overpower him, he's definitely going to be trying to mix those different quirks up to wear him down, I would say. That's compared to just trying to overpower him.
I think they season some more detail, like he try to add more value to this thing. Like, I don't know, for me, from like a Horikoshi standpoint, it's like I can see the American comic book fan in him for giving him this Danger Sense power, not only because of like the similarities to Spider-Man, but because of the whole like I'm trying to explain the realism of superhero-ness, because it would be like outside of Deku being in the area and seeing this massive chaos, it would be how else would he know that this shit was going on? So I felt like him calling out at the end, like, oh, I used that dude's quirk to figure out the Danger Sense, was him trying to like add some like, oh, there's no plot hole here type of wording. But I was like, it was so unnecessary to me. I was just like, you're just trying to like put shine on this nigga's power. But it's like there's better ways to do it to me. Like, I feel like he could use it more like Spider-Man uses a Spidey sense, where it's like, oh, I'm fighting, okay, I can use this to kind of predict, where the punches are coming from, or that I'm about to get hit. Stuff like that, rather than the whole, like, he's using it to be kind of a Superman, where it's kind of like an all sense that allows him to be, oh, hey, trouble's happening here, and then this is the most important. Because when you put it that way, then my question becomes, a lot of niggas are dying. Not saying that that's something they said shouldn't happen, but you're definitely putting out there that a lot of motherfuckers are getting fucked up. Because if you Danger Sense this, my thought is that means that this was the loudest thing you sensed, which means there was probably a bunch of other danger senses going on. Did you save those motherfuckers? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? How are you distinguishing between which one? Are you just going to the loudest, or are you going to something else? And if you're going to the loudest, why is it the loudest? Because why was this in particular the loudest in terms of danger? Is it the villain that's making it the loudest?
Yeah,
or what the villain's doing?
That's what I was going to assume, because I assumed that, like, for example, you have other people who are fighting these other weaker ass villains or whatever, people who are just, rob a bank type of ass niggas, whatever. And the citizens themselves are probably able to to handle themselves with that situation. So yeah, there's probably like a certain amount of danger that's emanating from that group of guys or whatever. But this thing of muscular is probably emanating a huge amount of danger or whatever. So that shit is like ringing the loudest. I guess it's kind of like as if you were seeing like orbs at different points of the city or whatever, different sizes, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna go to that the largest size orb over there to get my XP and level up."
Well, but I mean, so like my concern there becomes like what is throwing the danger sense off, because to me that means like a lot of things could throw this danger sense off, not just a villain in particular. It could just be like, hey, don't go into this area because this building's literally gonna fall on your fucking head. You know what I mean? Like that could potentially make a big danger sense. But it's like for me in terms of like the all for one type of, why I bring this up is like the all for one type of movement. Would his danger sense go off if all for one was in the area, or would it go off only if all for one was doing something dangerous, so to speak? You know what I mean? So if you just go somewhere and it's like, oh hey, all for one's doing some sneaky shit that's really dangerous, sure, but it's like subtle danger, right? Like if he's going around and he's just scheming and plotting on some shit that could definitely fuck the entire world up, that's danger. But I don't think Deku's danger sense is going off that. I think Deku's danger sense is going off of like, oh shit, this nigga off one just blew up a building. Like, oh, danger. Like, so I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it's better, and I'm not gonna tell him how to write the thing, but in my mind, it feels like using that power would be better if it was just more explained in fight than how he's finding danger. Because I feel like you can just explain, like that was nothing we needed a power to explain away. That just happens and everyone's comfortable with it. Niggas just show up to danger all the time. All Might was just showing up to danger. Like, yeah, there's news and stuff that get there, but no one thinks too hard about that problem. So I just thought it was weird that he tried to make us think about that. Like, I was just like, I get it. This shit happens. Like, you figure it out. He's a hero. Like, I'm not gonna fucking sue you because you didn't explain to me how he figured out Muscular was there blowing shit up. You know, like
you can hear the man
right. I was like, you could have used any excuse to say how he found, like, oh, I was just passing by and I seen this nigga, or oh yeah, I heard this nigga, I heard the fucking building crash, like 10, 15 miles away, so I just pulled up. Like, yeah, it is what it is. So that was part that bothered me. The other part is like kind of this like UA. I don't know if he's just trying to say UA heroes are just a different breed or what, but I felt like these past few arcs has set us up to feel more comfortable seeing students in a hero position. And I felt like this chapter kind of set us back with how easily they got stomped. You know what I mean? Especially what you said with the turtleneck chick. And then like the dude with the shit with Grant, I understand how he took that L, but at the same time, I'm still like I expected more, Like I just felt like we started putting the students on this pedestal of like they're pretty much ready to be pros, and then you kind of like still try to put in that barrier of like, no, they're still not ready to be pros, and I'm just like, well, why even, get that boost, like, or talk about it in other chapters and then basically hold a shit out of Grand and this turtleneck chick, Just a waste, like.
Well, I think probably the issue is they probably haven't really gotten as much experience as the kids from 1A. I think because 1A, those kids are a very special case.
True.
With the shit that they run into.
Yeah.
Like hell, these niggas actually ran into fucking all for one, and they had to save Bakugo out of that situation. So you definitely have a special batch of kids.
Yeah.
This group.
I feel like this would help, at least just for me, if they borrow from One Punch Man with a class level for villains. Like hey, these villains are blank class, these villains are blank class. Just to give you that, like, okay, this is like a prime UA student, we expect them to handle like a Dragon class villain with like 2 or 3 of them. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, if you're from this other school and you're a decent hero. Like, I'm assuming Grand and them can handle pretty much any 2-bit criminal, right? Somebody that does petty crimes. But what I would
tattoos.
Right, but what I would classify muscular as, and this was a theory I was kind of alluding to, is like a villain leader, meaning like now that this world is kind of like a free for all, my thought in the next step is that with these villains being able to run around and do whatever they want, some villains are going to start to establish dominions, meaning like, hey, this is my block, this is my neighborhood. And Muscular is just that type where I see him as being a block leader or a certain leader. Like he may not be able to go toe to toe with the other top tier villains. Like if Gigato Makina runs a block and he's like, yeah, fuck it, we taking your shit, he'll take his shit. But he can definitely establish a dominion and have followers and shit under him and just be like, hey, this block from here to here, I run this shit. It's Muscular territory. And these are the rules I established to be within my ring. So I understand like these people, I wouldn't expect them to necessarily be the villain leader type. But I'm expecting to see more of those pop up. And like that might be what Deku kind of like, trains on. Is some of these like, hey, I'm decent to up their villain. Maybe I rivaled the top 10 hero before I got sent to prison. So I'm strong enough to just basically take a neighborhood for myself. But like regular heroes probably can't beat. Well, sorry, pro heroes could definitely, run the ones with me. But like some of these students, you need help. Basically, you're just gonna need like it's gotta be 5 or 6 of y'all before you could take me down.
Hey man, it sounds like the shit that you're describing is actually what could be a whole ass RPG game.
Okay.
So the nigga does have a bunch of number of powers or whatever. He's going from block to block, saving niggas and defeating those little territories to turn them back to the good territory and shit
Right.
like that, where you're building allies and all of that shit.
Yep. No, I mean,
So
my mind's in the RPG mode, so yeah, that is basically what I'm explaining. Though to me, it definitely is a cooler story from the villain side, but whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
but I just foresee that going if they're gonna build out this chaos, this apocalyptic world for a long time. I don't know how long they plan to like, set it up to where it's so one-sided. But I feel like if this goes on for like at least a year or two, my expectation is that we will start to see, and I mean Euro 2 and My Hero time, we'll start to
yeah.
see that. Like, hey, All for One kind of runs this shit, but oh, here's like some, little areas that other people have control on, whether he makes them his lieutenant or he just lets them have that spot. Is how the writer feels like writing it, but I feel like we're going to start seeing that. And then the heroes kind of trying to combat that. Because I'm like, they got these safe houses, but I think after this whole Deku power up thing, I kind of want us to flip back to see what the actual strategy is from the Endeavor, Genist, and Hawk side of things. Because I don't know how they plan to take everything back. Like, yes, you got everyone safe in these buildings, but my idea is that the next plan is to take shit back. So are y'all working with the military to do this? Is it just going to be a hero effort? Which also, all of this just starts to get, weird when I start thinking about the My Hero world. But whatever, I'll get off my theory tangent.
True that. True that. Quick question: how long do you think it's been? So you're saying that you think there's been like a little bit of a time skip.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is their big, like their major time skip? Like, how the typical shonen would have their own time skip or whatever. Do you think we've had the time skip, or do you think it's just been a little bit of time since the breakout, from just the jailbreaks or whatever?
I would argue
Deadpool's got a little bit of training.
I wouldn't see more than a few months at most. I would think at most a few months have passed. At least probably a month, I would think, has passed since. Because you got to think, it was kind of like we were going through the time skip in the hospital thing. So, like, the battle happened. There was obviously, like, probably a week or two that passed between, Deku being in the hospital and the shit that was going on there. And then Endeavor making his, like, public announcement and trying to move niggas over. And then you got to think about the time frame to do that. And then now they're sending out other people to help move niggas over. So as comfortable as the people they talked to in this conversation seemed, it seemed like they were kind of like doing their thing for a while. And I feel like 2 weeks doesn't sound right in my mind to have been doing what they were kind of talking about what they were doing. I feel like they were probably doing it for like a month or so. Just in my mind. I'm just thinking like, oh, you guys got comfortable, established a little hideout. Like, I just feel like it would be weird to go, damn, Tomura just dropped Endeavor, and then 2 weeks later you got a hideout established. You know what I mean? There just has to be like a good chunk of time there. So yeah,
Yeah.
my guess would be it couldn't have been more than a few months at most. I
So
don't.
you think there's going to be another time skip, another bigger time skip, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I could see them trying to. So Silent Blade just said they're gonna do an all-out battle. I can see them just like letting Deku grind it out for a while and showing us that without actually doing a full time skip. My thing is if they
Mm-hmm.
do a time skip, another one, I feel like they would have already done it more with this stuff. Cause to me, if they showed us this that the world is shit, and then they like did another time skip, it just seems odd to me because then I feel like I would have more questions if they did a time skip at this point rather than using Endeavor's announcement as the window to do the long time skip because then I
Yeah.
don't have real questions about this. I could just be like, hey, these are the niggas who survived and shit. But now I'm gonna be like, okay, so we did another time skip. So now I'm like, so who died? Like, I just feel like more questions come up if they do it. So I'm not sure. I think
Yeah.
they referenced Deku dropping out of school for some time. So yeah,
Yep.
okay,
Because
yeah, they did,
he sent those letters to everybody saying, "Yeah, I'm out,"
right,
because everybody knows my power.
right.
I mean, so if we're gonna say that that there's been at least a month time that has gone on, and I would say he's considering how fast Deku learns, learns skills and all of that shit. He's definitely gotten considerably better with those other powers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking what we're going to see with this nigga muscular. He's not even going to use. He's probably not even going to use the bulk up, knocking nigga out power in this fight. I think they're going to showcase him using more of the other powers. And hell, the fucking powers from the second and third user might be powerful enough in some way to take this nigga muscular out, and they're gonna showcase that shit and how much Deku's essentially mastered that already. So I'm very curious to see what happens in this next fight. I'm really hoping that they don't just have this thing run up and just say 200%.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to. I think we're gonna get a play around fight of the skills that he's mastered or is coming close to master. So I feel like we're gonna get some usage of the Black Whip, some usage of Float, and then obviously the core power, potentially one of the new ones, just like as maybe like oh I'm just working this out maybe to finish him, but definitely I see like he's gonna have to showcase a mastery of the ones we've already seen him acquire
Yep.
and then like kind of finish the fight that way. But my guess would be like maybe he'll also try to season in just one more new ability just to kind of get us like hyped for what's going on because I think when he was in the mind, uh, correct me if I'm wrong on this. This was like what 3 chapters ago. Did they ask? Did the first user ask like the two guys facing the wall to train him?
He was like, "Bro, it's time. I think it's time for y'all to stop being at the wall. Come over here and help the boy yell. Show him your powers."
Right.
That's why I'm like, okay, so this nigga's
So
probably gonna showcase either that power from the second or third guy, and we're gonna see some
exactly.
shit, and niggas gonna get hyped.
Right. Yeah. So that might be the like the icing on the cake for this fight when it gets dropped.
Exactly,
It's just like yeah.
and that's why
Mhm.
I'm very curious to see what happens.
For
I'm really
sure.
hoping they don't.
No, I agree. I'm definitely like I want to see all of the powers. I'm not as excited because they kind of established that they're shit, but we'll see. Because to me, it's like he's really trying to season the. I maybe he said that as like to showcase a mastery of the Danger Sense quirk, because before when they brought it up, it was kind of like a feeling, and he didn't know where it came from. So it was like when we first talked about it, it was kind of like, oh, I didn't know what happened, and then now it's showing that oh, he knows about it and is using it. I don't know. I'm still iffy about the whole Danger Sense quirk thing on a whole. But like you said, yeah, I'm definitely. I feel like he's gonna at least have one, maybe two powers that I go, this is not. I wouldn't qualify as shitty. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like float, even low key, I don't really qualify as shitty. but it is shitty if that's all you have. Like when
Right.
you add it to all the other shit he has, it's like, yo, that's dope. But if you didn't have that and all you did was fucking float, it would be like, okay, cool. So you're on rescue team duty? Cause like, what else can you do? You just can get cats out of the tree really easily, and then like save people from like burning buildings or something really easily. That would be it. But you can't go hand to hand. Like you'd have to actually learn gunmetal martial arts or something to be able to drop niggas. So
Niggas love mentioning that gunmetal martial arts, man.
you got to,
Damn.
bro. Wow, you got to.
That's your favorite shit,
Hey,
man. You say
bro.
you put more respect on that than you do on the fucking what's it called? Like Gentle Rock or some shit like that?
Hey, bro.
Whatever
If
is
there
that shit
was
from One Punch Man.
Hey,
No.
Muay Thai is one of the martial arts I really want to learn. But if there was a gunmetal martial arts or a gun and martial arts class, I'd take that over Muay Thai for sure any day. It just sounds dope. This is a
Oh
dope
yeah,
name.
it does. And that's how you know. And that's how you know it's one of them fake ass martial arts when
Hell
niggas
yeah.
joining the school for the name of it and go
Hell
out to the
yeah.
streets thinking they tough and get their ass beat.
Hey, bro. Say that to Rocco. But yeah, anything
Well,
else? Any other theories you that came up from this chapter for you?
nah. I'm
All
just
right.
ready to see what the hell this nigga brings up.
Same here.
And I just wanted to mention I do not give a damn about how this nigga looked with his costume. They tried to make it look cool, but that shit wasn't hitting for me.
Oh, for real. It was like so lame. It just was like he never had a cool costume to begin with, and they thought like, oh, let's tatter it up, and I'm just like, bro, kill it. Actually, like kill it. Like if there's anyone that needs to switch, go ahead and give the dorky costume to Todoroki. Figure out what he gonna do with
Damn.
that shit,
Uh,
and let Deku just be Deku. Because I don't even. To me, it's like it doesn't match with his power. Because they give him all this stuff that makes it seem like he has like he's Batman. Like they give him like a utility belt and all this other shit. Then I'm like, you never used anything besides your physical abilities.
yeah.
So what's the point? The suit doesn't match him to me. Like Bakugo suit matches that nigga perfectly. This nigga got fucking grenades on his hands. He's a living grenade. It makes sense. It like works. Uraraka, I don't know how to describe her thing. It's just whatever to me. It's a man thing, but I like that they kind of give her the spacey vibes. She kind of looks like an astronaut. So I feel that with the whole gravity thing, it's like, oh, okay, cool, sure. I get kind of where they're going with there, but Deku's really just came out of left field for me, and it felt like they were trying to build him to a person with more accessories when he met that one chick. But then they kind of like just dropped off on building that part of the story. I don't know if they're gonna come back to it, or maybe she's assisting him in the background in this whole new dark world that we're in. But yeah, I don't know. He needs a redesign. Somebody need to rethink his shit.
True that. True that.
But yeah, I'm ready to rate.
That's
Um,
what,
I will give this. I think I'd give this one a strong, decent plus. It was good to see other heroes in existence that aren't from UA. So it was nice to see that we didn't necessarily forget about these guys. I really did like what Grand pulled out to try and beat Muscular. I like that he wasn't scared about facing him. I like that it was showing the grit that the heroes are having in this new post world thing. And that point that you brought up, I thought was also really cool. The like hate he had for the people not listening to him and him just like, yeah, fuck it, bro. There's no rules.
yeah.
Like, let me just blow this building up. So I thought that was dope. And the Deku coming in to save him, obviously the hype for that was also pretty good too. So for me, I think a strong, decent plus. I don't know if I give it decent as hell. I think I'm probably gonna end up giving the next chapter decent as hell. But for this one, it's mostly set up, and I'm not mad at what they did. So I'll give it a decent plus.
Well, I was gonna give it a decent as hell because yeah, I was gonna mention the part where they're kind of giving us hints that some of these heroes are about to become villains because they're getting pushed to the edge. But then I gotta always show love for my nigga Muscular because I'm all about them games, baby. So the way this man came in over here swag surfing down that damn building,
Yeah.
ready to come and fuck shit up, I was like, that nigga is that nigga coming over here like he the Hulk, but he's about to get dropped like his Thanos versus the Hulk. But I still respect the way that this man came into the scene.
Right.
So I got to fuck with that. Plus, I have these high expectations with this nigga Deco getting ready to throw hands with this man for a rematch. I mean, it's not exactly a rematch like he lost, but this is, I mean, it's Muscular's rematch to try to take a kid out.
Right.
So I'm hyped for the next chapter just because I have probably stupidly of me to have high expectations just because of the disappointment with Kaido, but I got high expectations to see what this nigga about to do with his powers.
Right. Okay. Dope. So I guess without further ado, we will transition over into great moments in anime history. So Grant, you want to set the stage for this one?
All right, so everybody, I'm hoping everybody knows the old Pokemon movie. I mean, yeah, Pokemon movie where the nigga Ash he sees that nigga Mewtwo getting ready to do work. He's like, man, fuck all this Pokemon battle shit. I'm about to throw hands with you like a real nigga. So he runs up on that man, boom, gets his shit blocks, and he essentially gets turned into stone because he had to realize this Pokemon battle shit ain't just for kids, man. When humans get involved, niggas actually die.
All right.
So we're gonna check it out.
Tyler Blade said, "Damn throwaway." Yeah, we taking it back on this one.
Hold on, you got a transition.
Oh, whoopsies. There we go. Starting it up.
So can you just pause this real quick? Because I wanted to point something out. So you saw that this nigga Mewtwo had to put up a fucking shield to block that nigga Ash's punch.
Oh, so I
saw a post a couple weeks ago. That nigga Ash is definitely way stronger than your typical human, man. This nigga throwing trees and all that shit. Pokemon that are heavier than multiple cards and shit like that. So yes, that nigga Mewtwo probably would have got his shit rocked if he didn't put up that shield. I just wanted to point that out.
I mean, I could definitely speak to that nigga durability because Charmander and Pikachu shocking and blowing fire on this nigga for the longest, and that motherfucker was just getting up,
eating it,
right? Dang, he laughed at his ass, bro.
Yep. Oh, they're talking about, yeah, it's fun out here.
All right. I see they improved on that Kamehameha thing with Lucario, because don't he do that in Smash? He create that little ball and like sending at people?
Probably. I mean, I never played the Smash game, to be honest.
Oh.
Yo, that nigga Mew was like, bro, what you on, bro?
All right.
I'm over here just kicking it. Why you playing?
Dang, was this the one that they remade on Netflix?
Yeah, I believe they remade it, yeah.
Oh, okay. I wonder how they decided to set this up now. Because like with the new animation and everything, it's like you can definitely showcase the damage on a whole different, scale than they had back then.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. That definitely looked
Yo,
like,
did this nigga really just dodge that whole ass? Yo, how fast is Ash, yo?
Let me go back because it definitely looked like it took that nigga out. That's the funniest part about it.
Pokemon can't dodge attack like that.
That's what I'm saying. So one of two things happen here. One of two things happen here. Either A, this nigga definitely got taken out by this blast. They try to pretend like he didn't. Or two, that nigga used flash speed at the last moment because he straight up disappeared. Like, yo, he was gone. That nigga disappeared, bro.
Yo, that man is stronger than any Pokemon. I think Ash is he a low-key Pokemon. That's the reason he doesn't age.
I had to explain why Pikachu didn't want to listen to him at first. He was like, you wanted me, nigga.
That nigga is a legendary Pokemon. Niggas don't want to admit it.
He's human, man.
Exactly. He said Ash has Ultra Instinct.
He's tripping, bro. Damn. Nigga just sat there and watched that shit, bro.
Right?
I'm out of here, bro. We good. Then I would have got caught by a straight blast like Ash
Bro,
did and
you
died.
know there would not be a single nigga and multiple miles away from this fucking battle.
Right?
As soon as a nigga sees that the weather's going crazy, like, oh
Right.
shit, I'm out.
And you can
Oh,
sense
let
that
me
on
do it.
Mew because Mew already got that. Like I don't give a fuck, and we can go to these hands from 0 to 60. Like he not playing. So as soon as I see Mewtwo face, I mean I'm out there.
Exactly.
I'm done. Like,
Meanwhile, everybody else
that's,
just sitting there watching this shit like it's all Gucci.
that's
No,
what I'm
bro.
saying. Mewtwo is like the embodiment of that Full Metal Alchemist meme where Ed's sitting back on the couch looking sus, or the Black Goku meme where he looking sus. Same thing. Mew just always, if he come to a room, you like, all right, this nigga's either about to shoot somebody or punch the shit out of somebody. I'm not gonna be around here to find out who that is.
Exactly. Yo, so how did you feel in that moment when you saw this shit for the first time? When you saw this nigga get turned into stone, bro?
I can't even lie, bro. I don't remember. I watched this in the theaters when I was like a kid. So I either fell asleep during this part, but I really don't remember it. All I remember is Mewtwo.
Nigga, what? Fell asleep?
Yeah. I don't think I fell asleep, but all I can remember, you know when you go back to your memories, just like a blank spot. It's like I just remember sitting in the theater, maybe seeing the beginning, seeing Mewtwo, and then that was it. That's all I remember about the movie. That's it. I had to rewatch it. So when it came on Netflix, I was like, damn, I should probably like rewatch this because it's been a minute. But yeah, so I can't say how I felt because I don't remember how I felt. But how did you feel?
I think I low-key started tearing up a bit when I saw that shit. I was like, oh, shit. My nigga dead? What we gonna do, bro?
Wow.
What we gonna do about the rest of the series? I was about to start crying or whatever, but you know how you see some shit that's sad as hell or whatever, you start to tear up a little bit.
Right.
I had to suck that shit back up. Say, hold on, don't let that tear come out. No. King Jack's talking about he remember he was sad as fuck. Bro. Hey, tell him like it is, man. Because this niggas don't really talk about this much, but this definitely was one of the most iconic sad moments in anime history. Because you know, like One Piece, they'll throw a lot of sad moments at you with people's backstories or whatever. But in terms of iconic sad moments in anime history, this is definitely a big one.
That's a good overall question of just sad moments. But I definitely agree with you. This could go up there as one of those like, yo, for real, that was crazy. What would be some others? Now that I think about it,
nigga, when in Full Metal Alchemist, when the little girl and the dog got morphed together.
Oh, for sure. That's like top. that could break top 5 anime iconic sad moment. If it's not already in there, it's definitely arguably a top 5.
I want to say it's between that moment or when Buddy got murked. But the loving father or whatever.
Oh, you talking about dude on the phone? Start with an.
Yeah, he was in the phone booth.
Yep.
And he got his ass straight murked.
That just got me angry, bro. I was hot. I was like, yo, because like that's the other thing about Full Metal Alchemist that be so funny, because it's like it really took them so long to figure it out, just because. One, they didn't want to listen to the guy who did have it figured out. So Ice Homie in the beginning already had it figured out. And they just didn't listen to him. They hunted his ass instead. And then Marco figured it out, or whatever his name is, the dude you're talking about, figured it out and then got killed. So it was just like they basically sat on there. Most of the series was just like, damn, if just one of those two niggas was alive or you listened to them, we probably could have finished this up in like half the time.
Yeah, that is true.
I said when Kakashi died with his fight with Pain. Ooh. When Kakashi died or when Jiraiya died?
I can't remember Kakashi fighting Pain.
I think he meant Jiraiya on that one.
Okay. Jiraiya.
Oh, you're talking about that? Yeah. That one I did feel. He's talking about when he attacked the village. And then I think Kakashi fought the clone body. And then the real Pain came out. And I think that's where he dropped him. But yeah, he had like a whole flashback about his dad and shit. That was where I was hoping we was gonna get the real Kakashi character development, but they flopped on that. I give you that. That was a good one.
I think that didn't hit me as hard because I had already seen the nigga when he after when he fought against tried to fight against Itachi, and that shit wasn't even a match. We saw that nigga spending multiple days in this fucking in this torture world or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
So that's where I kind of like lost all of my sentiment for the shit that Kakashi goes through or whatever. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't think anything can compare to that. So with a nigga getting ready to die, I'm like,
I'm
nigga,
telling
not
you,
Sunday.
I felt like Kishimo did a great job of writing the death flags for people if he actually let them die. Like my guy would have had an amazing death sequence if they let him die. For real. Kakashi, same thing. And Jiraiya's only one we felt because they actually let that nigga die instead of bringing him back like they did everyone else. The Pikachu versus Pikachu slap fight was funny and sad from this movie, and Asuma's death had me a wreck. Dang, Asuma's death? I don't know. Did I feel that one hard? No, I mean I think I definitely like the hype of what Shikamaru did after the fact, but to me, I think I probably didn't feel it because I'm just mad at the Sarutobi family in general. Like Kishimoto just didn't spend enough time developing that family. Like, and then you realize
Yeah.
certain shit about them like too late. Like the relation between Asuma and like the third was like hella late in the game. I feel like niggas didn't really call it out until Shippuden. So I was like, damn, bro, like what? And then it's like I don't think they're really winning any with Konohamaru even in Boruto. Like he's done some things. I mean, he's shown he's like a Kakashi level ninja in terms of like their context with the story, but it's still like I don't know, bro. Just too many secrets in the Sarutobi family, and I felt like none of them was developed. He just gonna continually be a ghost family in this fucking
You,
show.
you know what? Something that you said made me think about fucking Akame got killed,
Mm.
and
That
I feel like
chick
there
with the
were a
scissors
couple
hurt.
moments. Say it
I
again.
said chick with the scissors that hurt me.
Yeah. So there were definitely a number of moments. I'm
Right.
pretty sure that everybody's gonna have different deaths from that show that had niggas fucked up. You see Silent Blaze,
Yeah, he's in
he's like,
all
oh
in.
shit.
I'm
So
telling you, you could get into a
no,
lot of them.
no. So the chick with the headphones, when I saw her head on the pipe, bro, I was like, oh no, not her. I was like, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. I was hoping. See, I typically don't hope that niggas ain't actually dead in different anime and manga,
Right.
but I really hoped that shit was a fake. Like she had like some type of clone or some shit or
Yeah.
whatever. Because I was like, it can't be her. But
No. You said the
she
whole
was dead.
series. No, there was a lot of those like damn deaths. Like yo, all right. And then that's the unfortunate part because I think I lost appreciation for like maybe the second half of deaths because we like the story established that that's what was gonna happen. So when new niggas came through, I'm just like, all right, so what you gonna do to get yourself killed? Because I know you gonna die, nigga. I don't know where you gonna die, but I know you gonna die. Like, hey, we got these new people from. I'm like, so when are they killing these motherfuckers off?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, those deaths hit. Shit. Let me see if there's any ones I can really think of. Really, like, see the funny thing about the sad moments in One Piece is most of to me the thing that would have been the saddest moment in One Piece was the Sabondi arc where they split everyone, but it's actually the funniest moment in One Piece to me because of the Kuma sound.
Besides
Yeah,
everybody.
like the Kuma sound just totally flipped the script on that whole thing. Um, so yeah, I can't really call out anything there. I think I will argue that maybe I felt a lot of hate. I didn't care about Ace's death, so I won't say that. But like the Alabasta stuff, when I was actually rewatching One Piece later in life, um, I actually really felt that arc. I wouldn't say it's like one of my top sad moments, but I remember feeling like for real anger at Crocodile. I was like, yo, this Crocodile nigga's evil. Like I'm actually was more surprised when he ended up becoming like a ally to the party later, because I was like, yo, this nigga was dirt. Like he was dirty in Alabasta. Like rewatching that shit, I was like, yo, nah, bro, I wouldn't forgive him for some of the shit that he did because he was definitely on some bullshit. But it is what it is. Happy sad moment when Black Bulls went out to look for cures for Asa's arms. Bro, I don't know if I was drunk or what, but I was fighting tears. You might have been drunk though. I don't remember. I don't remember that. I didn't watch it in the anime, so I don't even really remember what the search was like in the manga. To be honest, I might have skipped that shit. I might have skipped part of it because I think the whole that was part of the whole Vanessa witch arc thing, and I think I totally skipped that. I don't remember how or why, but I think I skipped it. I just remember him getting beat by Veto. Now I don't remember none of the shit from old dude, but shit, maybe I'll watch it tonight and see if it made me cry. I'm gonna ask my wife if it made her cry because she liked Black Clover. What else? I mean, I think we can. You have anything else? Any other sad moments in anime? The ending of Toriko.
I was just about to mention Toriko, dude. Great minds think alike.
You right?
But I was going to mention my nigga. First of all, basically my nigga Ichiro. Mm-hmm. I still want to say that nigga sacrificed himself or whatever because he didn't want his little brother to take that L from him. So when that nigga got killed by Midoriya, I felt that, and when my nigga the Knocking King got killed, I felt that more than anything. I was like, not my nigga, bro.
Knocking Master
Not
Hero.
My nigga, dude.
I'm telling you, and then you feel it more because it was just like, it's just betrayal. Like, the Ichiryu one, I feel you, but I was also like, come on, Ichiryu, you could have just, like, spanked him. You know what I mean? Like, neither one of y'all had to die. You could have just beat him into submission and just be like, hey, chill out. We're not your enemies. But, like, the fact that all of them had to realize the one guy who basically, like, took them out of poverty really was just like kind of using them their entire lives, like that had to feel kind of fucked up. Like I was like, damn, bro, I feel for y'all, but it still wasn't as sad as just not completing that fucking story, bro. I think to this day, every time I think about Toriko, to this day, I just can't get past that feeling of like, damn, bro, they could have been fighting elephants the size of stars, bro.
Wait, when you saw that universe, that shit was a rough feeling.
I'm telling you, the nigga had 3D, like the level of world building and like storytelling elements that they set up for the next phase of story was just like, I never been hyped. Because to me, they really could have completed the story. Like if they gave him time, I'm sure he would have spent more time in the actual worlds because they kind of rushed that part too. But it's like, that could have been a complete story on its own. Just Akashia betrayed these niggas. We beat them. We're done. But it was like, no, he still set up like so much story behind that it was like Akashia, this major villain for the first tier, was still kind of just a stepping stone for where the fuck this shit could have gone, bro. That disappoints the hell out of me every time.
Yep.
Naruto saying bye to his dad after the war. That one, yeah. I had my gripes with the war, though, so that might have been why that's muddled in my mind. But, no, for sure. That's definitely up there.
I thought that a nigga would have said when Neji died, even though I didn't give a fuck about it.
I didn't give a fuck.
I thought that people would have said that one because Neji definitely had some hardcore fans.
You sure did, but I felt like the Neji death was just more like, it was more shock than hurt, maybe. Like, I don't know how the super hype, like, Neji hype beasts feel. But to me, when he died, like, once again, I don't think I ever processed any sadness. I just processed, like, it was just a very big what the fuck question mark. When this nigga died, I was like, him? Of all people? That you want to, like, really kill off? And then I was just like, and then when Kid Jesus went around bringing people back to life, I'm like, so you didn't bring Neji back? But you could for everybody else? Like, come on. Nah. So yeah, he said Neji just pissed me off. He didn't have to die. It should have been Guy. I agree with all of that. Like Neji really didn't have to die. Like it's sad because, Yeah, I mean, really, besides Team 7, like, all those other teams never really fulfilled their. Oh, no, I lied. Shikamaru's team did in their own way. But the other ones, I think, could be argued that they never really fulfilled the, like, take over the next generation promise. Like, compared to where they came from. Like, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, even Sakura arguably have surpassed, you know what I mean, the old generation and took, shit to a different level. But Rock Lee, Neji, and Ten surprisingly didn't. Like, my guy still kind of ended the story at a higher tier than Rock Lee, in my opinion. I don't think Rock Lee looked like he still had a bunch of shit to learn. Ten, only God knows who she was trying to surpass, but that was a dead mission with ninja weapons. Like, at least it would have been nice if they, what you mean, like, set her up like, the paper chick that you were talking about earlier, because she actually surprised me. I was like, when she took on Toby, I was like, oh, you're using paper bombs? Like, them shits never work. And she actually almost got this nigga. Like, she almost took this nigga. I was like, yo, that's the type of respect I felt like they should have put on Ten's name. Like, giving her some battle that would showcase that, like, even though we see ninja tools as basically just some fuckery that never works, Ten actually makes that shit work. But she's never made it work. Neji just fucking died. Like, he was on his way to greatness, but they were just like, nah, kill him.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. I think before we close it out, I'll just move on to the last topic, and we will end it after that. So, anime crossovers. So, I think this was a question one of us asked on Facebook of just what animes would we want. Well, they asked it to the group, well, to the Facebook people. What animes would people want to see crossed over? I didn't read this responses, but this is kind of what our discussion topic will be before we close it out. And feel free to add what y'all think in the comments or whatever the chat, so we could shout those out too. So, do you have any like crossover things? Like, I just stole this picture from like the Luffy Goku Toriko crossover, which once again just brings another piece of sadness to my heart, because it was like, yo, they was even kind of setting it up as the next up. If only the anime didn't censor so much bullshit. But if the anime, like, went down the route, like they were setting Toriko the next up, bro. Goku and Luffy in like a crossover anime with Toriko, like, it was like, yo, here's the torch, my nigga, and then fucking canceled that shit, bro. Hurt. That shit hurt.
Yo, that nigga about to cry when we
finish. That shit hurt, bro. Yeah, once this shit close up, I might have to shed a tear.
Y'all think that's water that this nigga drinking, but that's really alcohol, bro. That nigga drinking his feelings away. That nigga Toriko.
Right. That would be hard, man. Silent Blaze brought up a great one. That shit would be hard. Black Clover, Magic Knights, and the Bleach 13 Squad Captains. I think that would be a dope ass crossover to see. I'd love to see their interactions with one another. I'm actually have to think about this one pretty hard.
I was gonna say, just to see how niggas interact with each other. Lelouch from Code Geass and the nigga Light Yagami from Death Note.
I don't. How would you foresee that crossover happening? Would it be like a neutral world crossover? Would you like to see like Lelouch come to Light's world, or would you like to see Light go to Lelouch's world?
I'd rather see Lelouch going to Light's world, because he'd be, seeing that supposedly there's some type of ultimate god that's going out here killing niggas or whatever, and seeing if he finds out that niggas have to know their names, in order for them to die.
Yeah.
And if he would find a way to basically keep himself from being discovered and find out who the killer is and take that nigga out in quick enough time. So the ultimate battle between the minds, where both niggas have these crazy ass powers in their own way, and they're trying to find each other and take each other out.
All right. Yeah, that'd be dope. King Jack said he would love to watch them box. I'm assuming he's talking about Light and Lelouch, which I think would be hilarious. I think that'd be hilarious. But my thought is that Lelouch would drop that nigga, right?
Yeah,
I don't think Light has
I
hands.
think so. I think Lelouch at least has some type of physical ability. Like he ain't completely weak or whatever. The nigga at least rides bikes and shit
Mm.
when he's going to and from class. But that nigga Light, I really feel like that nigga didn't do shit with his life. He just did nothing but writing a book.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like if it came to the hands, it's a wrap. Simon Blade said Lelouch winning, so there's that. And then what about Dazzy from Bungo Stray Dogs goes to My Hero? I haven't watched Bungo Stray Dogs
Yeah, I
yet.
haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, so I don't have the context on that, but I'm assuming that there's gonna be a dope crossover.
Yeah, you got to give us some reference to that.
Yeah. Or what's it? Does he have a power? Because I'm assuming if he's going to My Hero World, he has some type of ability. Um,
Yeah, you got to be on some type of crazy shit.
right. Let me think.
I wanted to try to find some type of magic world to go with fairy tale. I couldn't think of anything.
Oh, to me, from the comedy aspect, I would love to see. Yeah, I think I rock with that. I'd love to see the main character from Psyche K and the main character from Do You Know Sakamoto, which is kind of like a similar to Psyche K, but the main character has more personality, but it's the same thing. Like this guy just does crazy shit, but he doesn't have any powers. It's just that he's just like suave and very lucky. So I would love to see them just like interact in a world because I just think that would be funny. And then like
Yeah,
another funny one behind that would be potentially like One Punch Man and Mash from Mash Magic and Muscles because I just think those are also like very similar storytelling types. So it'd just be interesting to kind of see them, and they both have that like you know what I mean? Like the I'm so powerful, I don't really focus on what's going on in front of me. I just focus on stupid shit type of mentality. So I feel like it would be an interesting interaction for those two. And he said
so
he's basically a racer head with touch. Okay, that would be
so
dope.
so that nigga would definitely need to have hella speed and hella hands if you're trying to touch somebody in order to stop their powers. So
He'd figure it out though. My Hero World, I'm sure he's probably OP in his own thing. But if
yeah,
I'm assuming if he goes to My Hero World, we will give him the the ability to develop with them niggas. So niggas figure it out. I'm sure. Or his power will just get dope to where he could do what a Razorhead did and like send a EMP blast at niggas, just like shut his shit off. Um,
shit. I was gonna say the nigga could do like a fucking what damn, I cannot remember the nigga's name who's able to turn shit into dust. But if he's
uh,
touching something, he's able to send his power through contact into that object and it passes through and eventually touches whatever that person is touching and turn their Pokemon that
ah,
way.
got it. Like electricity, kind of.
Yeah.
I
Or some
got
shit
you.
like that. Or some Shikamaru Shadow type shit.
That'd be interesting. Let me think what other crossovers need to happen. Um, I mean, just going on to My Hero route, and this is not anime to anime, so this is a little different. But I think a My Hero and a American superhero crossover would still be dope. I haven't decided on whether it should be Marvel or DC, but I think it would be interesting to just see them interact with the heroes of America, just because I mean, they're basically hoes compared to the motherfuckers, but it would just be funny to see to see the power difference or scale. Like if one of them just went to America on an internship, like they would come back close to number one. I'm pretty sure if they went back to like Japan, just from all the shit they would learn and the amount of bullshit that just happens to the heroes in the U.S. But I think that would be a cool, interesting look. Um, let's see. Other anime crossovers. Uh,
I'm trying to find something.
sports anime. That could be a
Uh,
good potential
yeah,
crossover.
I thought about that one already. My
Which
issue
one?
with doing the sports anime is that niggas nobody does the same sports or whatever.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's like, so are you gonna do like for example Hinamaru Sumo trying to play volleyball against niggas or whatever?
Right.
He already has a height disadvantage. Plus the nigga is heavy as hell from doing sumo all day, so he can't
True.
jump up there. So he just getting straight dunked on all day.
Yeah, I think it could be dope to do it in a. This one I couldn't see as a crossover episode, but as a series, kind of like they do like the Isekai Quartet, but maybe like with a more serious aspect to it. But like basically all of these super teams, like these not underground, but underdog teams, they're all from the same school. So it's like the sumo team, the basketball, the baseball, whatever sports anime you could think of, volleyball, it's all in the same school. And
Yeah,
basically like the trick becomes like either the crossover could be that like every once in a while they may steal people from the other clubs. So you might see a basketball nigga that has a feature that can be applied to another sport that they just like, hey bro, we need you for this thing. So you see him like kind of apply those skills to a different sport. But also
yeah,
it could be fun from like the student standpoint, outside of the teams, but like it kind of brings like the sports team will like bring an audience, so it'll be funny to kind of see what the school is like when you have like a bunch of fire teams all over. Like that student who has to figure out which game you want to go watch or whatever, because like the basketball team is fire, but the volleyball team is also fire. Like, oh, I don't know, like them competing for like people to come to their games, I think could be kind of funny too.
well, another thing that I would find funny. So if you were to take like one person from like multiple different anime or manga series, I would take to see who has the best food luck. So you already know which niggas I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna take that nigga Hercule. I'm gonna take that nigga Zonge, and
Oh
I'm gonna take
yeah,
that nigga. I'm gonna take that nigga King from
yeah,
One Punch Man. Have them do some type of crazy shit where they all got to be together for like a fucking whole week in a row, or whatever, doing these competitions and see who could come out on the top of that shit.
right.
Using all of this crazy ass food luck that comes around them or whatever. And
Oh
during the
for
whole
sure.
time, you have all of these crazy ass fights happening all around them or whatever. You're just showing their perspective. You don't care about, like, for example, Goku doing fucking Kamehameha against this fucking crazy ass character over here. You got One Punch Man doing all this shit, but
Right.
you just keeping it all focused on these three guys and how all of this bullshit is being dodged all around them.
Oh
I
yeah.
would fuck with that hard.
Yeah, no, they need I would say they just need a reality TV show with that. Like how they
Yeah,
did the Isekai Quartet, but they should take all of the comedic relief characters from as many shows as they can and just like even do like an anime house spin on it or whatever, but like that shit would be hilarious. Just having them all in one place talking shit. And the funny part would be to see if they're like story luck applies to like this house scenario. So how King is just like he magically just tricks people into being like the scariest motherfucker. It would be funny
yeah,
if that still kind of applied, but it's with the other comedic relief characters. So it's like Hercule's like, yeah, bro, I don't trust it. That nigga King seems strong for some unknown reason. Like I don't know how or why, but like I just don't want to fuck with him. Like you know what I mean? Like that shit I think that would be pretty funny if they just all got together and just did dumb shit, like, because they would pretty much like they would be magnets. Like that's what I think would make a great show because you could do a villain of the week thing because literally all of them in most cases are magnets for the most dangerous villains ever. But they always somehow manage to like not be the one that takes the L for bringing that villain. So it pretty much means
yeah,
they all live together. Literally, a daily occurrence is villains just attacking wherever the fuck they are. And then
yeah.
somehow at the end of the episode, they find a way to like luck nigga out of the whole shit. So they
Exactly.
don't actually take an L. So you might
The
see like
whole damn planet
cameos.
gets exploded or whatever.
Right.
The whole little ass house or whatever. That's just the only thing that's floating in space.
Exactly. Yeah. It would make a very interesting kind of like Rick and Morty type of like I don't know show or whatever like endeavor, just making fun of anime tropes and all that shit. That's a good idea. Someone should do that. Hey, if someone steals that, pay Gramps his money.
Do that. Not to
uh,
mention this next one, I want to see a bunch of psychic niggas living together. So I
oh.
want to see that nigga Psyche K. I want to see
Mhm.
that nigga from what's the name of the show where the guy goes from 0 to 100 real quick?
Oh, Mob Psycho.
Yeah, I want to see that nigga Mob Psycho.
Mhm.
I want to see the fucking I can't remember. Is it Tatsumaki? It's either Tatsumaki or the other sister
I think
from
it's Tatsumaki. You talking about green hair chick from One Punch Man?
yeah. I want to see her. I want to see who are some other psychic characters, but I want to see basically a whole ass scenario with all of them niggas just going at it to see who got the craziest psychic powers.
Yeah. I mean, if we doing that, then we gotta add the strat niggas in the house too. That would be absolutely hilarious. Like the strattiest niggas from every show, a Shikamaru, Lelouch, dude from Death Note. I'm keep forgetting. Light
Yeah,
Yagami. Shit, you could even toss L in there. Just like all the stratty niggas in the house together, just doing shit. I think would be funny as hell.
see. I would love it if there was like a mystery, some type of mystery competition. So let's say, for example, in this house, they all know that one person took a cookie out of the cookie jar, but
Right.
now they're all trying to figure out who
Who
stole the
did
cookie.
that
And
shit?
the nigga who did it is trying to finesse everybody to make
Yeah.
them think that somebody else did it or whatever the whole time. I would love to see some shit like that because
That
they're
shit
all
will be
fucking finesse each other.
fire. That shit would be fire. Once again, another great idea that if someone steals, make sure you cut Gramps' check, bro. That shit would
Yep.
be funny as hell.
Pay me in Bitcoin, please.
All right. If there is no other suggestions, we can close this out with our closing statements slash questions people may have. I'll probably give it like 30 seconds for questions because I know there's a delay, and
Yeah.
then we can close it out. Um, but yeah, I guess in the meantime, just talk shit. But so are you watching anything new or anything cool happen in the anime, manga, comic book world for you since the last live stream?
Shit, not that I think of. No, honestly.
Yeah. I finished up this thing called Hell's Paradise that one of our fans suggested. It was average. It wasn't a bad read, but I wouldn't say it was something I would run around recommending to people either. It was
Mm-hmm.
okay. And then obviously I started watching Doctor Stone again. So that's getting me. I've suddenly gotten really interested in the show. So
Yo,
I think I
niggas,
might catch
niggas need
up.
to catch up with that manga because the manga is looking real good right now,
Oh no,
man.
I'm doing it in the background. But so what I
Yeah.
had did was like it's kind of like back and forth. So I was like, at first I caught up a few in the manga, and then I was like, okay, cool. We went through a binge and we watched like 3 or 4 episodes. So it's like it's here or there. So I kind of like took a break from trying to catch up on Doctor Stone to finish reading that other manga that I just mentioned. But now
Yeah.
that I'm kind of like freed up, I'm probably gonna end up catching up pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So look out for Doctor Stone reviews. Um,
True that.
in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I think we could wrap it up with closing statements. So what you got to close out the live stream today?
Oh, let's see. All I'm gonna say is, Deku, nigga, you need to get a fucking a change in your outfit. Get a change in your image in one way or another. Get you a fucking fashion designer. You need to go hang out with Best Genius and
Right.
have that nigga mentor you on fashion.
My closing statement is we need to create that strategy show, or someone needs to create a skit of the anime strat house where niggas stole a cookie, bro. That shit will be absolutely hilarious.
Right?
That's it.
Nigga talking about, yeah, I see the crumb right there, and there's a crumb closer to this person's room. So therefore, yeah, I knew you would say that.
Right. Well, other than that, y'all, thanks for hanging with us for another live stream. I probably won't be on the one next week if there is one, but if not, I will see you guys on the following Thursday. Other than that, enjoy the rest of y'all.